The spear. I've got to talk about it. Cam was just telling me she looked that up this week because we talked about tip of the spear and what's a spear without the tip? Anybody? Yeah, it's a stick. It's a blunt stick, right? But what does the tip do? Penetrates. Okay. And what do you do as a tip of the spear in a person's life when you open their heart with powerful questions? You come in with loving hands, loving ears, loving eyes, loving heart, and you open them to hold out to you what's inside, right? We recognize in coaching, we kicked it off last week. Some of you later said beauty from ashes. That became a theme for the day. And it begins with transparency. It begins with vulnerability around testimony regarding what God has done in your life, where you have been, where you are, where you would like to go. That's a great assessment tool, by the way. Tell me your life story, where you've been and where you are, and pick out the parts of where you have been as a way to tell me about where you are and who you are, the good and the bad. What experiences have you had, and what are some relationships that inform who you are? If it's a first session assignment, I like to give to people that I coach to get on board with where they've been and what they've experienced in life. And they begin to open all sorts of stuff. And some of you are like trained in medicine and trained clinically. I think an advantage I've always had in coaching and empowering laity or non-clinically or professionally trained people is to say, you can do this. You know, there's a lot that you can do with simple skills and heart. And I think you know at Zion that you are the tip of the spear in many regards. I mean, you know that you know in lots of ways. You're the tip of the spear to penetrate in this region and many other places. So this boils it down to exactly the way that's done. Divide and conquer. The army on the move, the tip of the spear. I just want to encourage you as you continue to receive opportunities to do well with the person who's in front of you. I never cease to be amazed at what can be learned in just a simple conversation. I talked to John out in the hallway just at the break, and you just began with some curious questions. How'd you get here? What are you interested in? That's the way it started with Julie that day. What brought you here? What's in your mind? What's in your heart? I sat with a ministry leader yesterday at lunch and started a counseling continuing ed from the same town and just said, what have you learned during your tenure in this position? This is Shelley Lopez, for those of you who know Shelley. What have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about the Lord? And what have you seen that excites you? And that led to an hour of sharing. And then invitation to reciprocate. What have you been learning lately? What are you excited about lately? So how do you start powerful conversations? You'll come up with some stock questions. I talked to Tony for a while yesterday, and I can predict how he's going to lead in a conversation. What's been exciting, or what's been a blessing lately? He truly wants to know. So the simplest of conversations can begin to penetrate very deep, as we see modeled time and again. So that's what you'll have an opportunity to do several times this afternoon. I want you to work with somebody who is not, who you've not worked with and you're not familiar with, because I want you to challenge yourselves to use all of your skills, not to make any assumptions, to have to listen carefully, and to really get to know what. So begin searching yourself in an area that you're stuck, a problem you need to solve, area you'd like to grow. One of the coaching agendas that you developed on the first day when you looked at your wheel of life, that's the place to look, or it's looking through your life. If I have a minute to get a coaching session started with somebody I haven't met for the first time, and just to demo it, maybe in 30 minutes, the question I ask, and you could try this, is where are you motivated to grow or change right now? Or what is something that your circumstances are forcing you to address? Because there might be pressure, there might be a conflict situation, there might be something like what Patty talked about, something that needs resolution. So where's the place you'd like to grow or change, something you'd like to accomplish, or what are your circumstances forcing you to address? That's particularly a good question if you're coaching ministry leaders, executives, business leaders. What's happening in your context right now that you're forced to address? Okay. Any comments, questions on anything up to this point? I'm turning to look at the PowerPoint. I'm sorry. See where we've been. By the end of it, you'll have been through about 75 slides. Just to give you a sense of what you're getting through here. Okay. So we're going to look back at the coaching funnel, pages 30, 31. And you're going to work in dyads. You're going to work in twos. So start thinking about looking around. You can keep it comfortable. Some of you are going to need to move. So we'll have a little bit of pairing up again. And in 20 minutes, I want you to work through the entire funnel. Yep, in 20 minutes, I want you to try to work through the entire funnel. One at a time, with 5 minutes of feedback. Hang on, don't move yet. Oh, don't move yet. Yeah. Yeah, I will keep track of the time for you. Okay? So, moving through the coaching funnel, recognize what we're doing. You know more than you think you do. We're putting it all together. This is like if you've played a sport where you break down in individual position drills and then you put it together, like on a football team. This is putting it all together. So it's the goal, it's the ideal future, it's the exploration with asking and listening, it's the development of action steps. You can pull out the 5 options, you can pull out the ideal future. At that point, commitment to some action steps, see how far you can get. Now, yeah, it's a challenge because usually you have an hour to work through this. What this does, it's kind of like speed drills in math. I don't know if you still do that, if anybody's teaching. But it forces you as a coach to control the pace of the session without being rude, okay? And your client, as a client, try to cooperate with it, okay? So, any questions on what we're doing? Would you like a brief 3-minute demo on working through a coaching funnel? Okay. Diane, are you willing? Okay. Diane's a friend from Springfield.
I got it.
Works as an occupational therapist.
Got one.
You got it, Mike? You're good. Okay. And, okay, so Diane, maybe a goal that you've done, something that you haven't done. What would you like to accomplish? Where's a place you'd like to grow?
I would like to. You want a simple one?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I have a discussion I'm going to have with my boss on Monday, and I am not quite sure how to handle it. Is that simple enough?
Sure.
Okay.
If that conversation goes as well as possible, ideal future, what will you be able to say afterwards? What will you be able to say to them, or what will you hear? What will be the outcome?
The outcome will be that my boss will really understand my concerns, and I will feel like I was heard, and that I will have had an opportunity to hear back from her without a lot of emotion clouding my thinking, so I really hear what she says too.
Okay. what are you thinking about doing in order to prepare for this conversation?
I am kind of writing out my thoughts. It's actually what I was doing in preparation for it so that I have more of a concise, because as you know, I will ramble on for a very long time. So I'm trying to have concise thoughts when I get there.
I've never thought you've rambled, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you have a lot to say. That's good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. So in preparation for having this conversation, you've written things out. Where do you think you are in your preparation, and what else are you thinking about doing or do you want to do to prepare?
I'm about halfway done, I think, with writing it out. I've been thinking about it a lot over the last 2 days, and I'm about halfway through with having it written out. And then I want to break it down into concise points and put it on a little card so that I don't forget anything while I'm there, because I'll tend to be nervous or have a lot of emotion going on and not think as clearly. And it's important that I am concise and clear and not overly emotional when I'm talking to her about it.
Okay. When do you want to have that preparation completed between now and Monday?
8:30 Monday morning has to be completed.
So you have a meeting scheduled?
Yes.
That's going to be another question.
Yes. So
How-
actually, I'd really like to be comfortable by Sunday night so I can actually get some sleep, because I haven't been sleeping well, and some sleep would be helpful.
Okay. So if the meeting goes as well as possible, can you say it in a sentence again? What will be the reality?
The reality will be that I will be able to say how I feel and feel. That's not a good goal, because
Yeah, you can make it a subjective measure.
okay, and feel like that she heard me, and I'll be able to hear her feedback without a lot of emotional filtering through to me.
Okay. And if you rate that on a scale of 1 to 10, how high on the scale? 10 would be, it was absolutely a perfect conversation. Is this 70% acceptable? Is it 80%?
This is a really crucial moment, and so I'd really like 100%. Really.
Okay. All right, so you have the goal, the measure, you want to be able to rate it 100%. You're doing your preparation, you're going to finish that by Monday morning. Anything else you think you need to do or could do to prepare yourself?
I could definitely do more praying about the situation so that I am better prepared going in, and I really do need to get some sleep.
Okay. On that, any ideas about how to make that happen?
In part is because I tend to want to avoid it, so to really pay attention and get my preparation done in an early enough time and have a quiet time before I go to bed, which is when I like to do that, so that I am feeling as prepared as I can be and know that God is going to be able to lead me through the next thing.
And will you do that?
Yes, I will.
Okay. So anything missing from this in regard to what you want? Okay, good. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so good. Yeah, thank you, Diane. I think you can trust some prayers from this place and from these folks. So what was done quickly? Did I cover every aspect in some way? Yeah, Don?
I got you.
So goal, exploration, you have a clear picture in your book.
You definitely facilitated deeper into the action items, clarity around everything that she could possibly do. But an early call out that just really touched my heart was breaking off the lie about her rambling. I just went, sweet. Sweet. Never miss an opportunity to break off a lie of somebody you're coaching. I just said, note to self. That was sweet.
Oh, thanks. Good. Yeah, and that touches on affirmation and identity and, possible healing issues. And, we all have those places. And this is somewhere where we can maybe see some things when a person is vulnerable with us that they've had a hard time seeing. I mean, that's happened for me here. God's used Linda to see some things and bring some ministry to me even while I'm here. So that's wonderful. Yeah. Validation with the stamp. That's right. Okay. So you can be that quick, and I knew Diane has some experience with coaching, I figured she probably has already thought through some of this. Here's what I want, here's what I think I need to do. She's sitting over here during lunch taking some notes on the thing because she assigned it to herself. So there's a place you can self-coach and expect to do that. And then with people who are experienced that way, when you coach them, it can be a high-speed chess match. You kind of go like that. What's your goal? They tell you, here are my action steps. Would you like to explore that? Talk about your feelings around this. No, I'm good. I just want to do this. I have 3 other goals I need to tell you about. Okay, it can go that quick. So see where you are with that. See where you are. 20 minutes, I'll keep the time. At 20 till, we're gonna switch into 5 minutes of feedback, and then you're going to do another 20 minutes of coaching, 5 minutes of feedback to your coach. The feedback is, I really liked that you did this. This is what I experienced. This is how I was able to tell that. And here are things, if we continue this conversation, I would like more of, or I would like different from you. So feedback, the breakfast of coaches. All right? So in dyads, and get going. Okay, you should be finishing with the first client and give your coach feedback for about 5 minutes.
And so, yeah, to write it down, like by the end of May, I will da 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 and blah blah blah.
Good.
So it was,
Switch to client number 2 if you have not done so. Client number 2, you got 20 minutes. take about 5 minutes and give your coach some feedback. Feedback to your coach. All right, I need 3 dyads to come up. And once you get up here, I'll tell you what I want you to do. No, I'll tell you beforehand. I want you to share the feedback that you gave each other about your coaching. And I want you to consider the different types of affirmation that you can give. You can celebrate progress that you have experienced or seen in that person. I know this may be a little challenging if you haven't coached with this person before. Belief in them, calling Fourth, speaking to their destiny to serve others. You do this really well. I can envision you helping different types of people. And identity. I experienced, for instance, I listened this morning, I gave Emily some feedback. I said I experienced peace as I listen to you and watch you. You are a peaceful presence. I believe you are a peaceful presence wherever you go. Okay, 3 dyads. You don't have to do it perfectly. Give each other feedback, affirmation. Who's going to be the first 2 to come up? I don't have M&Ms. I do have some breath mints. I can, breath mints. Yeah. All right. Good. Jen, Julie, come on up. You just kept smiling, So. Up, 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 up. All the way up. Yeah. Woo. This may be a repeat of what you did there, but I want to make sure everybody has a clear picture on how to give feedback. And I'm going to give you feedback on you giving each other feedback. Okay?
I wasn't nervous until
You weren't? Okay. What really worked well? What did Julie do well as she coached you? What'd you like?
you want me to talk directly to you.
I do. Yeah.
Test, hello. Power. I can talk loudly as well. Okay, Julie. First of all, I have completely enjoyed getting to know you today, but you just carry such a presence with you where I just feel like you really are looking at me, not just trying to, oh, she might have some issues or problems or goals or some, things that she wants to work on, but I really felt like you were trying to get to really know the inside, like who I really am today. And just even your body language, I just feel like you really care about me. You really want to see, what the call is on my life and how I'm going to be launched, and that you really, I really feel like you wanted to be, even if it's just a small part of helping me get there. So I thought your questions were very, very thought-provoking. I felt like a few times it even just kind of made me stop in my tracks. And in that moment, I was even just getting a revelation of, wow, this could be where this is headed, or, dream bigger, or think bigger. So I just really appreciate you just taking the time to really get to know who I am, to really even want to partner with what some of my dreams are, and just using some of these techniques, the goals and the desires and things like that. I just thought that you really did an excellent job. So thank you.
Good job. Julie, how does that impact you?
Well, very fulfilling, of course, because I want to change the world. That's all. Just that. So,
What does it do for your confidence in your ability to draw her out and get to know her and steward the conversation?
well, that's pretty pivotal for me right now because I'm just kind of crawling back into the social atmosphere of the world in general. So, yeah, it makes you feel like, okay, I can keep doing this.
Let the record reflect you've been on stage twice today.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, that's great feedback. Go ahead, you can give Jen some feedback if you would.
So right off the bat, you were also super easy to talk to. I did not feel like your questions were overly invasive, like they were strong. They pulled things out of me, but I felt comfortable sharing. So you made it very easy to share with me. I felt challenged to continue exploring this crazy place I'm at in life, which is just everything's upside down, and I'm trying to figure out how to roll with it all. But it's upside down in a good way. But you just kind of helped me. I felt, I was at ease going in and out of different places with you. And the thing that I've been stuck on since I had coached with Jeff a few days ago was like, who am I going to have come back around me? And that conversation today helped me a lot because it made wheels turn again. And I did set a goal that when I meet with some family and I go back home and we see, what God's wanting to birth in us and what this is all going to look like, that I would be as transparent as Holy Spirit led me to be, so that they would be, and that this thing could be birthed into something real that other people would also want to engage in as we minister to them, because we were so real. So
Say that again.
the being real so that
Yeah.
other people will be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the great place for me to start is that I build that kind of kingdom relationship with people that also felt called out of churches that they were in to go birth something new for West Virginia. So it'll just start with all of us being very real. And some of my family knows some things. Obviously, it's very obvious I went through a messy, horrible, awful first marriage, but they don't necessarily know my entire life. And I just want to be able to sit down and say, you know what, this is my life and this is what's happened, but here's what God's going to do with it. So, you got me excited to go do that. So I think that's important. Yeah.
Great. Jen, how did Julie's feedback affect you just now?
Yeah, I felt great.
Don't stop, right?
No, right?
I'll give you an
Yeah,
hour.
keep going.
Yeah,
No,
you can have another hour.
No, it did. It was just great affirmation, to know that you're on the right track. I don't know about you, but sometimes when you're sitting even and doing this model back and forth, in the back of my head, I'm even thinking, am I doing this right? Is this the right direction? Are we accomplishing anything? So to hear that, it's like, wow. I mean, even just to hear you sum that up, it made me feel like, wow, we actually just accomplished a lot in a short amount of time,
And you were saying you didn't think we had set a goal, but we totally did, because I kind of purposed in my heart at that time, okay, I'm taking all these risks. I'm not going to stop now until I slay that giant. I'm just going to keep being vulnerable. So yeah, we did, because now I've decided I'm doing it.
I just wanted to tell you look really comfortable up there, Jen.
I know.
I could see you going for another couple of hours.
Yeah, well, give me a topic.
Great job. Thank you. Anything left over? Okay. Thanks.
Say something awesome real quick.
Yeah.
So I called to check on my son that we all prayed for. And he goes, Mom, I woke up between 8 and 9 o'clock, which would have been when we were praying for him. And he's like, I feel so much better. Typically, when you break your thumb that way, where he broke it and near the growth plate, to the point that they are contemplating surgery in the next few weeks, and then that should feel worse the next day in the natural. But my son's like, I just feel so much better. And I'm like, well, guess what we were doing at 8 or 9 o'clock this morning? So I just wanted to share that.
That's all right. You just lay it down. Thank you. Yeah. And you asked for the microphone. Okay, Dawn. You're willing? Great. I had my eyes on you guys, actually. So come on up. So what you want to do in feedback is just that. It's affirmation. So it's not just how you were impacted by the coaching, but specifically what they did, okay? Keep thinking technique. You'll never go wrong in pointing out specifically what was done. You hear me asking, what specifically did they ask? How did you get that? How did you derive that from what they did? Okay, it's how you know. So who wants it first? Good. You guys look very comfortable there too. I'm going to get out of the way.
Okay. So I thought the first thing that you did so very well was right as we get started, you said, can I pray? And I felt like that totally reset the entire process, because we moved from this coaching into let's invite God into this situation, and that was powerful for me. So that just really helped, because it reset the tone. Then as you continue to drill down and ask questions, you realize that the problem that I was staring at was not the real problem. And so instead of continuing to push on that, which is where I wanted to go because it's the only thing I could see, is you really started over here and came at it from an entirely another angle and introduced really the heart. You pulled out from my heart what you were hearing and twisted it back to me in such a way that it opened up me thinking about different solutions. And once we got to that point, boom, it all came down. So if you hadn't have been listening and really looking into what I was saying in my heart, not just the words, but really how you'd redirect those, there would not have been breakthrough. So that was just super powerful, so thank you.
That's God. It's not me. Oh, we had a breakthrough on both sides. And
Hey, Dawn,
yes.
where is he? How did that impact you?
I just thank God for using me.
Sounds like it's very, very humbling to you. Yeah. What's that say to you? What's that do in you in regard to the next time you have an opportunity to have a conversation like that?
It validates my calling and my walk with God because I know I was supposed to be here.
Good. Thanks.
What next, sir? Also, coach suffering with ADD. I may need to put that on the card. It happens.
I'm ready to see you break out in some comedy or something. Little known fact, huh?
You had to pull that one out, didn't you? Okay. So with Mary Jo, I had, you remember last week I talked about really struggling with the financial thing. So I'm going to come clean with a strength of mine, which is also can get in the way, and she found it. I get stuff done. I'm an activator. That is what I do. It's what I've done most of my life and my career. I'm a teacher and I'm an activator. Who I surround myself with are people with the strengths of planning and getting into the details of the tedium, because I do not like that. I get impatient with it. And the Strengths Finder Activator is one of my signature strengths, if you guys are familiar with that tool. Okay, so I come with my problem. I want to be more physically fit. So I'm going to just start doing stuff. I'm going to activate. I'm going to start doing things. What's your overall goal on that? That really sounds like action items you're talking about. Ooh. Book. I plan to live another 50 years serving God. And I want to have a high quality of life for the next 50 years. Suddenly, my action items had weight and meaning because she made me stop and reflect on why. There you go.
So she effectively asked you, why do you want to do what you want to do? Why? Yeah.
And now, because I know why, I keep having this is so important, but I'm just like, I was in that doing space instead of the why space. The incentive to get the action items done has huge weight instead of just being a nice to do thing, which is where it was just actions. Does that make sense? Okay.
Mary Jo, you made a comment earlier. You're asking about how I went back in a demo, clear back to the desires. It sounds like that's exactly what you did. You want to comment on that? Or what led you there to do that in your coaching? If you know, maybe it's just kind of instinct. So.
I'm not, yeah. Let me, so we just started, I just started asking her around goals or what she wanted to change in her life, where she was motivated, and she started listing a large number of them in different arenas, and I just felt those are really the action items associated with it, and just started to kind of push down. Could you put that into something overarching? Is there something bigger here? I also heard this, but then you want to have this action, and there's a disconnect. I just felt like there's a disconnect between some of what she was saying on the actions. So she'd say, well, I want to do this for this period of time, but I'm thinking, well, that was there, but there was this, and this also. So what's the bigger thing? And then from there, what was motivating that? What was driving that? Because where was your heart in that? Because there had to be a reason to do this. And I mean, this might not be so fun. So what's the reason for it? And there was a big reason.
That's great. And thanks for letting us in on the conversation in your head, because you're curious. There's something that wasn't being said, it was missing, you went after it.
Yeah.
So coaches persevere to fill in the missing blanks and use a gentle interruption and asking to have them articulate. And once you articulate and you hear yourself say it, there's weight for you. That's great. And Mary Jo, how did it impact you to hear Dawn's feedback and just, I mean, to see the emotion with it, what that means to her?
It was only fair because she made me cry over there, but no, it is so amazingly encouraging. So, you know, to see that light come on and see that just your whole countenance changed when you did that. You went, you know, it was like this and this and then, wow, you could just see her heart come out in her eyes. I mean, they were just sparkling. They're so alive with, this is important to me and this is why.
Excellent. Anything else either of you'd like to say? Okay, good. Thank you. Just a point on training for those of you who train others formally or informally in the future. You can't do too much of this exploration and reiteration of what it was that worked and how did it work and what did they do, and you know that builds your own style as you get that feedback and as you watch others. Professional coaches are encouraged to continue being coached, so we usually often make agreements with each other, and that's the way I've learned a lot and have made others' styles part of my style. So we pay each other about $1,000 an hour. So I pay him $1,000, he turns around, gives me $1,000, you know, break even. So you can joke about your fees. But no, you can do that, and you can do it remote. You can do it by Skype. You can do it FaceTime. You do it phone. A lot of phone coaching over the last 15 years. And you set an hour. You keep a timer. This is your half hour. What would you like to be coached on? And you hit arenas of life, and feels good. It's a good use of time. Practice your skills. That is something we would recommend to you following from today to stay fresh. Keep doing this. Some of you have said, I want to be coached. Well, coach each other. Get coached by somebody who does it professionally if you want to, but certainly don't miss the opportunity to build your community and your relationships, and as much time and energy as you have for it. It's usually life-giving at the end. Is there one more dyad that is dying to speak into the mic and to share your experience and to publicly affirm each other? All right. Excellent. Did you just get volunteered, Bert? What's that, Alicia? Yeah. Okay, guys, you know the drill. You're third in line. Go.
All right. Well, with Ryan, what you gave for me was, I mean, you coached me without coaching. It was more of a conversation that kept me directed and keeping me focused on where I needed to go at, which was really nice because it was a conversation that we were able to continue going through and bringing up some things in me that I hadn't thought about in a while. And when we started talking about it and started putting into what my goal was going to be, and then started to explore and then getting into the options and everything as we went through those, you were affirming the things and giving me encouragement as we were going through it, which was really nice to have. And then as we started talking about some decisions and setting action steps and even getting to SMART goals where we were being more specific and measurable, what was it going to be, the timelines and everything, it was really great. But like I said, the whole thing was, it was more of a conversation where we were able to sit and talk and getting everything done without saying, okay, point A, point B. It was very nice to just have that conversation and flowing through that and having you speak through and just giving that encouragement and that friendship through it was really good.
That makes me feel good. I'm sure you're going to ask how it makes me feel. I felt very similarly. It was just natural. You know, we were here for a purpose and just being relational. And you would say things when we first started learning this, this whole program. the first thing that blew my mind was the answers inside of the person you're coaching. That blasted me, and it's wrecked me through this whole thing, because it's like, I don't have to have the answers. So as we just develop relationships, he said, like through a friendship, we just really started to get to know each other today. And so to be considered like your friendship, it was like, yeah, that's it. It was, but I wasn't. We were here to practice coaching, and so what you did for me was similar in that. I just felt through the relational aspect of it, we naturally tackled some pretty big issues. And for me, what you helped bring out of me was something that I've shelved for years. Didn't think I had any energy or time or money or effort to put into it. I couldn't justify it. And so I haphazardly threw out something fresh. I was tired of talking about all the other stuff we've been focused on. And so I threw up this thing of an old passion that I had. And you helped me realize, okay, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, well, I could this and I could that. And I started writing stuff down. You wrote stuff down. And I'm looking at you over your hand, over your, looking at the list going, did I just do that to myself? But it seemed it's more attainable. It's not so far off that I have I have to wait until something happens pivotal, and I don't know when that is, this obscure thing. So it really helped channel things into more of a focus of that it's okay, I can really start dreaming this dream and putting time and energy into it now. So that was very cool.
Good, well done. Bert, talk about the impact of his feedback.
It was nice.
Do you notice anything about how succinct guys are?
As the male minority here, no. No, the feedback is, it's always nice to hit that affirmation and having somebody validate the things that you're going through and doing also. Because those are the things that we all look for. We all want to be validated, and we want to feel that what we say is important. And when you have somebody that comes back and gives you that feedback, it helps to bring up inside of you even a little bit more confidence and helps you to feel better about yourself also, which is, I think, what the Lord wants us to do, is to lift each other up.
Is this dead? Oh. Okay. Jim and I just hear you talk. You got a great voice.
We need to do audiobooks or something.
Audiobooks?
Yes, in the beginning, God. Yes.
How great thou art, maybe?
I was being coached by Charlton Heston.
They were trying to get my attention over here. I was turning a different direction, and they go,
Jeff.
Until it sounded like frogs in a swamp. No, but thank you, guys.
Yeah, it was good.
Thank you. Anybody dying for a break, or you want to keep going? Do you need to get up? Is it your energy okay? Okay. You say break. You want to break? Is that consensus? Okay. How about 10 minutes? Let's take a break.